Hello, everyone, and welcome to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast coming to you, as always, from deep within the Outer Rim, far beyond the watchful eyes of the Galactic Empire. My name is John Mark Tully. Joining me today, as always, is...
Garrett K. Jones, the one and only.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And we are here once again to talk about Star Wars Bad Batch Season 2.
Season 2? We went backwards in time?
We did. Oh, my goodness. Great Scott.
Right? Now, we're talking Season 3, Episode 12.
3, yes.
The episode in question is called Juggernaut.
Yes. What did, just first initial, what did you think of this episode?
It was kind of meh. It felt really anticlimactic. We're at the point where everything should be building, just from a story structure. And for those of you who are tuning in on the Geek News Now YouTube channel, this right here is the framework for what's called the 3-act structure. And the high point of everything hit in last week's episode, Point of No Return.
Yeah.
And when Omega gave herself over to the Empire so that the island would be safe. And we should be steamrolling all the way down towards the climax here. We've got 3 episodes left, and all the stuff that goes on in this episode, it could have been condensed into maybe a few minutes at the beginning of an episode instead of dragging it out over the course of the episode. Point, I don't know. It felt like there's not a whole lot of momentum. Now, the great action, I like the breakout scene, but it felt, I don't know. It didn't feel like this should have been a full episode.
It feels like, I don't know. It feels like they went, even with Omega, it feels like you had one episode where you see Omega, and I feel like you should have had at least 2 or 3 episodes with them trying to find Omega and then getting everyone back together. It seems like everything just kind of went boom, and then everyone's back together, and now Omega's gone again. It's okay.
No, I don't think we need. We don't need more scenes of them trying to find Omega or more episodes where they're trying to get that. I think the way it played out was great. What I think should have happened is that the exfiltration of Rampart should have taken longer. It felt way too easy to get him out.
Yeah.
Looking at the definition of the word Juggernaut, it literally means a huge, powerful, and overwhelming force or institution. And while the Empire is just that, they are a juggernaut.
Yeah.
It feels more in line with the idea that there should have been an unstoppable force preventing them from escaping.
Yeah, and I think they're going with that the vehicle they were in being a juggernaut. In fact, I think that's what it's called. I think it's called a juggernaut.
Yes, yeah, that's from the Clone Wars, and I get that. I mean, that was kind of a I guess a goofy nod to the naming of the episode, but still, it felt way too easy for them to get Rampart out of prison.
Yeah. And I mean, right after basically having their butts handed to them, just a few episodes prior, prior, and then they just it's just. They're like, oh, well, this is...
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't know. This, more so than any other episode this season, this feels like a filler episode.
I agree. And I agree with you, too, that it should have been... Getting Rampart should have been at least a 2-episode thing.
Well, no, I don't... See, here's the thing. I do not think it should have been a 2-episode mission. That would have dragged it out way too long. I think the mission was fine, but like it just didn't feel like the stakes were high enough, because at this point Omega is on Tantus. She is in Hemlock's grip. She's trapped there, like she's in the center of the facility. There's no getting out. Because even she gets through the door, that there's nowhere for her to go.
Right.
And at this point, like it feels like things just had to fall into place because the plot needed it to.
Yeah.
So what are some of your other thoughts?
I'm trying to think. It did feel very rushed. Like everything just seemed to be like everything on the mission seemed to go almost too perfect.
Yeah.
Like I never felt like they were in any real danger or that things weren't going to turn out the way they were, needed to. Like this to me would have made this episode, like I think it was a fine episode. It was fun, but I think to for me personally, to put this over the top and make this a great episode and put the Bad Batch in a situation where like they're even in more, not necessarily more danger, but that's where they have to figure out what to do is if Rampart died. If during the evac they lose Rampart.
Right. And I think
one thing that they're trying to, the one person they were trying to get that can help them find Omega, and he's gone. Yeah,
that would definitely be better, because that would send us,
because for one, they've already set up, at least for now, that he's not going to be a redeemable character. I don't think he's going to be one of those characters that, like, even though he said we're in this together, it's not going to be like from Rebels and who was the guy from Rebels who was the Imperial who turned?
Callus.
I don't think it's going to be like a Callus situation.
No, I don't think so either.
Because we've already seen him do horrific, horrific things, but I could be wrong.
Well, and I don't know. I think you hit the nail on the head as far as like what should have happened at the end of this episode. Yeah. They should have been able to exfiltrate Rampart from his cell, but then Rampart should have been killed off, because as far as I'm aware, there's no other medium where Rampart shows up in the Star Wars canon at this point. And so I think having him get killed off would provide that obstacle, because there still needs to be obstacles as we're steamrolling towards the conclusion of this arc of stories. And because I'm looking at it from the perspective of at this point of Hemlock. If I were Hemlock at this point, these clones have been a thorn in my side. All they want to do is they want to get the girl back. Why not invite them? Why not send out a signal saying, "Hey, Bad Batch or Clone Force 99, here she is. Come get her."
Yeah.
And then blow them out of the sky. Use every available weapon to kill them. Because he hasn't done that yet. He's been throwing small forces at them, recovery forces, and a singular one or two operatives. He has not thrown the full scope his cache of weapons and ammunition and every bit of his arsenal at them yet.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been the great opportunity. And it feels like if we're looking at the release schedule, the next episode, Into the Breach, is going to be like that episode where, but like I feel like it would have been better to have like a direct invitation from Hemlock at the end of Juggernaut.
Yeah. I think that would have been,
Because I was reading this article. It's on Temple of Geek, and one of the things that the author on this article talks about is that the show balances the show does a great job balancing between hope and despair. And we see that throughout seasons 1, season 2, and most of season 3. And like, think about how absolutely crushed the batch would have been if Rampart had died. And then at the start of this next episode coming out this week, they get a call on it, like Omega has a hidden comm device on her that they're using to track, and Hemlock finds it, reaches out and says, "You want her? Come get her."
What about now? This is just spitball because it doesn't seem like they're going to go this way. But what about if they were to do something where they finally get there, and somehow Omega's been brainwashed, and they have to bring her back, and I think that would be a good way to bring, especially with Crosshair, because Crosshair was kind of in the same boat, and for Crosshair to be the one to bring her back, I think it might be too late to do that.
Yeah, if it was something that had been done sooner, or if the conditioning had been implanted while she was on Tantus to begin with, and she escapes, and then the whole thing was that she was the one who flagged the Empire and told them where to find her, that would make more sense. But this late in the game, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it would feel really shoehorned in. If she was just suddenly there to try to rescue her, and suddenly she's in an Imperial uniform or using the Force or something like that. Which both of those I think would be very shoehorned in.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, considering we've not really seen her overtly use the Force.
Right. She's got the midi-chlorians,
and we've seen bits and pieces. I think, like we've seen her, have slightly better reflexes. Like her reflexes seem a little bit better. She seems to sometimes have.
She's intuitive.
Like little premonitions, like little. Yeah. She's able to see things slightly before they happen. Anticipate them.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. At this point, I think I'm curious to see where it goes from here, because we've had decent episodes. I think this one right here is just the one that feels like it fell flat.
And the one with Fennec Shand are so far the only episodes where I'd say it felt like filler episodes.
Yeah.
Those so far the only ones where it's just kind of like, okay, where is it going? What are they doing?
Yeah. It was already a big shock when we realized they were kidnapping kids.
And that was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. Do you think they needed to do that reveal scene like that? Because we as the audience, we've already had that reveal. So that wasn't a shock when Omega walked into that facility and she saw the kids. They set that. It seemed like they set that up to be the big reveal, but we have the audience. We had that reveal a couple episodes ago, so it didn't make any sense to me. Why do that?
Yeah,
Why not just have her be, have her, I think it would have been better to pace this like she walks in and the doors open and she walks in, her eyes go wide. We know what she's seeing, but then it cuts to maybe another place where you don't see it because we are the audience. We've already seen it, so we know what's going on.
Yeah, my thought would have been like it would have been great if we had used or like if we had part of that reveal incorporated with Emery, but we never actually saw what it was. It would keep us guessing.
Yeah.
Did she see clones of the Emperor? Did she see the development of Snoke's clone body? What are they? What is that? What's in this chamber? What's in this vault?
And that's the thing, is that what Hemlock's doing? Is he doing that? Are they trying to develop force sensitive stormtroopers, clone troopers that are force sensitive?
Yeah. And
what's
interesting is this whole thing, this whole season has been bringing up a debate that popped up when Last Jedi and more when Rise of Skywalker came out for me.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing about cloning Jedi or cloning force sensitive individuals, just it didn't seem like it was something that would work because like if you've never, I mean, granted it's not considered canon anymore, but if you've ever played through The Force Unleashed part 2, you start off the game as Starkiller escaping the Camino cloning facility.
Yeah.
And eventually you make your way back to the cloning facility to fight Vader. And you deal with a bunch of corrupted clones of Starkiller. Like they have some force sensibility. They're using force push or they're using force speed to jump, large distances, but it is not going like they're not perfect clones. They can't do the things that Starkiller can do. And Starkiller's mentor from the first game, Rom Koda, says it's impossible to clone a Jedi.
Yeah.
It was tried. It was done. It failed because they came out as corruptions because the Force cannot be cloned.
Right. Well, you even see that in the original Timothy Zahn novels with Jorah Sabaoth.
Right. Jorah Sabaoth was corrupted.
Yeah, he was insane because he was a clone.
Right. So it's hard to say, but yeah, I think if there was a little bit more buildup, a little bit more mystery, because we didn't get a whole lot of the mystery of what was happening on Tantus, other than the Emperor showing up and asking about Project Necromancer. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the term Necromancer, I mean, most people who probably watch our show or listen to it or have participated in similar podcasts, you'll understand that Necromancer is a sorcerer who specifically focuses on raising the dead and using the dead for nefarious purposes. And so obviously, part of the long line of Sith tradition, Palpatine is trying to avoid death.
Yeah.
As much as he possibly can.
Yes. Overall, what would you give this episode?
Because the action involved, I probably would have given it a little bit of a higher rating than the one with Fennec Shand. So I'd probably give this one probably about maybe a 7.5, maybe 8. That would be pushing it.
Yeah, I would say the same. 7.5, maybe.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
Yeah,
we have a special guest.
What's going on, kiddo?
He wants to know what's going on. What's going on, Bit? Oh, nothing. Are you embarrassed? Oh, okay.
She's just gate crashing the party.
Oh, it's okay. This is the co-host of Star Wars with the Eyes of a Child, by the way, if you don't know.
Are those actual animals?
They are.
Yeah.
You know what they were.
Yep.
Go on, kiddo.
All right.
Anyway, but yeah, I'll give that 7.5. It wasn't a horrible episode. I think we've seen worse. I think we've seen worse episodes in the Bad Batch throughout the 3 seasons.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything that was memorable. Yeah, I think it moved the story forward a little bit. It kind of, but it was what it was. It was okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was decent. I mean, the writing was fine. It didn't feel like it really moved anything plot wise.
Yeah. Other than they now have Rampart.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I did. I don't know. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the next few episodes because we've only got 3 left before the series is done.
Yes. Wow.
I know.
Are we having another two-parter?
I don't know. I'm looking at. I'm on Games Radar, and now keeping in mind, Games Radar did not get it right with regards to the release of Identity Crisis and Point of No Return, or any of the others that were double drops. Actually, I'm this. But as far as I'm concerned, everything should be wrapping up because we've got Into the Breach this week. Next week is Flash Strike, and then May 1st is The Cavalry Has Arrived. And that will be the last episode right before Star Wars Day.
Yes. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. Garrett, why don't you tell the people out there where they can find you at?
Well, you guys can find me on Instagram and X at GKJ_publishing, where I talk about my book series, The Archives of the Sync Ran, as well as I talk about the other podcast I'm a part of, which includes War of the Stars, as well as my other one called Storytellers, Dealing with Divorce. But you can also find me on YouTube. I have a show called The Right Way. Just search for GKJ Publishing in the search bar on YouTube, and you'll find me. On that show, we talk book recommendations, author interviews, and creative writing tips. In fact, this month, the month of April, I'm doing each Saturday throughout April, I'm doing an author interview for my Author Awareness April Marathon.
Awesome. All right. As for us right here, of course, if you're going to want to get a hold of us, you can do so through our email. That is warthestars1@gmail.com. That is also our handle on X, War the Stars 1. All of the social media, you can just search War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. For Facebook group, Instagram, all that stuff, just search there. What else do we got? GNN. YouTube. Sorry, I'm sorry, going out of order.
Yeah, you can find us on YouTube. Because Star Wars Through the Eyes of the Child is still being launched there as well, right?
It is, yes, at War of the Stars YouTube channel. It is also on GNN, Geek News Now. It's Geek News Now Official is the name you want to look for on the YouTube channel. I believe that's also on Spotify too, but I'm not sure.
I've on Spotify, and it's pretty easy to find them.
Yeah. Also, a little information and news coming up. We have our 7th-year anniversary. It is actually the 27th of April is our actual anniversary. We will be doing an anniversary show. Be released on Wednesday. The shows are released on Wednesday. By the way, if you don't know the kind of background thing, we record on Tuesdays. Usually get them released by Wednesdays. We have several guests coming on for that show who have already said they would be on. Will Darth Tuba will be rejoining
be
us
awesome
for
having
that
him back.
episode. Brian Miller, former host, also currently the host of the Star Wars Canon podcast. And from lightsabers, sabers, and cockpits and sabers. I know I'm getting that wrong. It is Jonathan Heil. He's from GNN. Been on his shows a couple of times. A lot of fun. Quick plug for those of you who haven't seen it, go over to GNN and watch me on MCU Monday. I had a chance to be on there live.
I haven't seen it yet, but I will. I'm looking forward to that episode.
Yeah, it's up right now. We had a lot of fun. A lot of fun in the chat too. The chat was really hopping that day. So of course I plugged the show. Had to. But a lot of fun. And yeah, check out all the other shows on GNN. They're a lot of fun, including a lot of Star Wars shows. So with that said, remember, this is not just my Star Wars. This is not just your Star Wars. This is our Star Wars. Until next time, may the Force be with you.
Bantha Poodoo.